It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Northeastern footy into round 3 this weekend. Round 2 of matches last week, and there were some beauties across the competition. Joining us on the line to tell us all about the round that was, Peter Meyer is parked on the tractor, I believe. Any rain up your way, Peter?
No rain, and I've just shifting a bit of hay around, so that's fine.
Fair enough.
They'll be shifting some hay around up there at the BBH at Deborah, Booberawi and Hallett because they've won the game over Blythe Snowtown 12-13-85 to 10-8-68. A massive win there for the BBH Rams at home, Peter.
Yeah, it's a very good win for BBH Rams. They've got 14 new players in that side, and I've seen them play a bit against BSR the week before, and you know, it's only a matter of them blending together a bit better, could get to know one another. And I guess that's what happened home at the Borough Oval. They certainly improved again, so I heard, and they were able to get over the top of Blythe Snowtown, who they're relying a bit on their older players and so forth, and they're just knocking on the door at the moment.
I think the Breeze has played a role here. 7 goals to 1 start set this game up for BBH. Then, of course, Blythe Snowtown, it was their turn with the Breeze. They brought it back to just 15 points at half-time. BBH kicked away again in the third term, and the Cats came home with a wet sail. They kicked 5 goals to 2 in the final term, but it wasn't enough. So well done to BBH. Smythe booted 4 for them. Webster 2, Drew 2, Newton, Hutchinson, Webster and Drew named in their best. Darling booted 3 for the Cats. Clifford 2 with Fullis, Pratt, Imey and Ottens named in their best.
Yep, they weren't at their best. They've lost Caleb Lloyd, who's gone down to play with Freeling, and he's a big loss, a medalist in this Northeastern Football League previous years. What about this win from BSR, though, Peter? It's 24-19 over South, 6-8. These two played off in a grand final. So what's happened down at South, Peter?
Well, I guess you could put it down to the COVID transfer of players and that last year. They picked up a few players from that. Also, Scott Brand that coached them last year, he's a couple of family issues, so he's going to have to stay home and look after his family. So and that sort of reflected a bit on probably their start. They were expecting him to be back, and I thought against North Clare the previous week they were pretty competitive. In fact, for the first quarter they probably should have got more score on the board. But against BSR, they looked flat, were undisciplined, and just weren't in the game. BSR played a very good game of footy, and from the previous week they certainly leapt forward in their procedure, the way they delivered the ball into the forward line.
Well, Moller and Longbottom basically teamed up to beat South Clare. They booted 10 goals between them, 5 each. Cousins 3, Longbottom, that's another one. C. Longbottom booted 2, and Topfer booted 2 along with Haasma, then a host of singles. Haasma, Moller, Longbottom, the M variety, Hayes and C. Hayes and L. Hayes. Hayes and Longbottoms everywhere for BSR, named in the best. South Clare, Falconer booted 2, Dean 2, Dinning, Grigg, Moller, Dean and Falconer. Goodness me, there's Falconers and Deans everywhere at South Clare as well. I'm seeing double flow, man.
You are. It might be that yellow coat that you're wearing, but Min-Man 14-15-99 beat North Clare 6-11-47. And I'll tell you what, Peter Meyer, this is Min-Man coming back to their best.
Oh, yes, they're on the improve. Last week they had to travel down to Riverton and probably found the big oval and early in the season a bit of a strenuous exercise, but certainly at their home ground they were very up and about, and I see there was a great ruck crash between Shahinga and Riggs, and Min-Man were able to get on top and finish off with a very good win against North Clare. North have improved, and they'll be around the mark with a bit more under the belt, and I think they found Min-Man at home just a bit tough.
Yeah, they'd probably put this to bed at half-time, Min-Man. They were 8-10 to 2-8. Up at half-time, but you'd have to question the goal-kicking there for both sides. There's some work to do. Lloyd was good enough to kick straight 3 times. And I don't know about the rest, Flowman. You've got them in front of you?
Yes, a very good player was Lloyd Wolford, a 3-goal effort from him and the 2 Sando brothers with a couple, and Ruska with a couple too. And great to see one of the other Sando lads played in the reserves after that terrible car accident, back playing in Min-Man, and that's really good news for all Eagles fans and Northeastern Footy League fans. And finally, in the NEFL, we had a big one for the RSMU Hawks, 12-3-75. The Southern Saints 9-10-64. And Peter Meyer, is it that the Southern Saints' nemesis side is the Hawks? It just seems they can't get over them.
Yes. RSMU played on their home ground last week, big oval, and Robertstown's not too small either. And I think they like those big ovals. They get them move the ball down to the centre of the ground and bring it back into the centre a lot of times, and that sets them in good stead. But they've second year under their coach Krause, and I think they are probably a bit of the dark horse. They've got some good players still in that side, Higher and those type of guys, good leaders, and I think they stood out and got them over the line over at Robertstown. They got away to a good start, and the Southern Saints, they sort of pegged them back towards the end, but weren't quite good enough. Went down by 8 points or so.
You're exactly right. 7-goal up at the half, RSMU. Southern Saints 4-2-26, RSMU 11-2-68. They'd only boot one more goal for the second half, RSMU, but the Southern Saints kicked themselves out of it. After half-time, they would boot 5 goals, 8. Probably should have won, 19 scoring shots to 15. So the Saints, that's one that got away from them, I think. The Hardy booted 6 prior to. Schmidt, Hardy, Lorna and Lorna, both all named in the best there. And Michaelaney? Yeah, there you go. He booted 4. Milne booted 3, and Milne, Hare, and Higher and Slee and Shanger, the big man, named in the best for them.
And Micah Van Loon too, the boy from the West Coast.
They're making it easy.
Oh, they love these hard ones for you, mate. But I'll tell you what, this is a big round 3 clash. It's BBH Rams taking on RSMU at Burra. Another home deck for the Burra boys. How do you see this, Peter Meyer?
Well, if Burra continues to improve and being on their home deck and, some players in there that RSMU haven't seen, so, they'll be very competitive. There's no doubt about that. And they were in the first game against BSR at Spalding. I watched that a bit, and they were very competitive early. But I think in the long run, the experience of RSMU and probably a few steady heads around the place will probably get RSMU over the line. But there won't be much in it.
All right, it's a must-win for the Southern Saints taking on North Clare. And Jace, North Clare at home will be a much more formidable outfit. But do you think, I reckon the Saints can win this over there?
I think they can too. I'm going to tip the Saints. What do you reckon, Peter?
Yeah, I think the Saints will probably beat North at Clare. The Saints will, I think Schmidt will have them a bit more fired up this week to perform early, and going to Clare, I reckon they'll probably come out on top. North will be competitive again. They've got some good young players around the place, Helbig and Rose back there and those type of things. So, they'll be competitive for a long way through the game, but I think the overall stability and the experience of Southern Saints will get them over the line.
At Mintaro, Minman, the home side, they'll beat South Clare, who will come up the highway and probably be sent packing with their tail between their legs. Yes,
well, they'd certainly want to get there with a bit better attitude than they had last week and a bit more oomph to play the game. So, and Minman, after their first win last week, they'll certainly be on the lookout and the prowl now. I see Rusker as well up in the best players. Good player, Steve Rusker, and Sando, leader. So, I don't think they'll let this one slip out of their clutches, and I think Minman win, reasonably easy in the end.
BSR take on Blythe Snowtown at Red Hill. It's actually a close one for the Blythe Snowtown folk, because Red Hill's just up the road. And for some of the BSR people, their home deck, it's a long road trip for this one, Peter.
Oh, yes. They've got to travel from Brinkworth, other side of Spalding and everything else. But then it's good for the Red Hill people to have the game at home. And this game, the Blythe Snowtown BSR games are always close, and it's for the Broughton Cup this weekend. So always the first match of the home and away season is the Broughton Cup weekend, because they're the old teams that were in the Broughton League. But on the Red Hill deck, Blythe Snowdown will be competitive for a fair way into the game. But I think the overall experience and probably a bit more player depth will probably get BSR over the line with their young players, Moller and Longbottom and Cousins and those performing very well. And just for interest's sake, the two Hayes boys' father and the mother of the 3 Longbottom boys that play are brothers and sisters. So
Stop it.
Certainly related.
Goodness me.
Oh, that is keeping it in the family.
They better not hyphenate. That would be terrible.
Up that way, it's always in the family. It's great to have you on board, though. Peter Meyer, giving us all the history of the families and the North Eastern Footy League report for round 3. We'll catch up with you next time, Peter.
No worries. Thank you. All the best.